Joshua Cheptegei will lead Uganda's quest for medals at the World Athletics Championships that do get underway this weekend. Not only that, we'll be discussing whether Lionel Messi was the outright favorite to win the big award at the FIFA Football Awards earlier on this week. Not to forget, in the Uefa Champions League, his side Barcelona does take on Inter Milan, but the big one is between Liverpool, who do take on Red Bull Salzburg. And later on next week on Monday, to usher us into that one, it's the big one between Manchester United, who do host Arsenal. And guess what? Arsenal hasn't won at Old Trafford in 13 years. Welcome to the Just Darren Show, powered by Betway.
Betway's Fort to Score is back and better than ever. Play our weekly soccer predictor where you can win your share of an amazing cash prize each week. Simply choose the first goal scorers in 4 selected matches and submit your selection before the first match kicks off. Entry is free, and if the prize isn't won, it'll roll over to the following week. Bet your way with Betway.
Now let's begin in track and field, because the World Athletics Championships are upon us. Beginning this weekend until the end of next week, the world will be watching the best in the 100 meters, the 200 meters, the 800, 1,500, 5,000 meters, 10,000 meters, and the marathon. Not only that, even the walk runs, 20 kilometers and 50 kilometers. Close to 1,000 athletes are converging in Doha, Qatar, where the championships will be. Uganda has sent its biggest contingent ever of 22 runners, and the first in action do come up on Friday, when Halima Nakai in the 800 meter hits, Peruth Chemtai in the 3,000 meter steeplechase hits, and of course in the men's 5,000 meter hits, that is Stephen Kisa and Oscar Chelimo. Not to forget that in Doha, because of the temperatures that go as high as 45 degrees Celsius with humidity hitting a low close to 48%, the organizers do not think it's right for the marathoners to run under the sun. So for the first time in history, the marathons will be done beginning midnight, meaning the races do end in the early hours of the day. And that means that Lynette Chebet, who is only Uganda's female marathoner at the championships, the first actually in 10 years, will be running after midnight on Friday. That's into the early hours of Saturday. You can't catch that on television. And later on next week on Saturday, it will be Stephen Kiprotich, Fred Musobo, and Solomon Mutai as well feature in the men's marathon that will also begin at midnight on Saturday into Sunday. So that's one of the changes. Interesting, because the temperatures are pretty high. Athletes will be running in conditions of about 35 to 50 degrees Celsius in Doha, but the organizers are trying to contain that. And Uganda's biggest chance for a medal comes into the spikes of Joshua Cheptegei in the 10,000 meters. He'll be hoping he can go a step better than he did in 2017 when he finished behind Mo Farah in the 10,000 meter final and took silver. This time round in Doha, he's the favorite, having won the World Cross Country title in Aarhus, Denmark early on in March, and he will have the support of Jacob Kiplimo and Abdallah Mande over the 25 laps next week on Saturday. Noah Lyles has been talked about in the sprints. That man there in the sprints talked about in the 100 and 200 meters, and of course not to forget the other several runners that have been talked about across the globe. Talk of Sifan Hassan in the 1,500 meters and the 5,000 meters for the women, and also Ronald Musagala, the Ugandan, in the 1,500 meters. Plus as well, Winnie Nanyondo will all be featuring. Musagala won 2 races on the IAAF Diamond League, winning the Birmingham Diamond League as well as the Paris Diamond League. So much to watch during this time at the World Athletics Championships, and guess what? I'll be there, so be sure to catch all the latest. Just look for the hashtag on Twitter and Facebook, Just Darren, and there's actually one betting site for every other event that is happening beyond athletics. There is rugby, the Rugby World Cup going on. My favorite, the All Blacks. Of course, they managed to get off on a winning note. The World Cup happening in Japan. The odds are available on www.betway.ug.
Jimmy really likes hard work. Really. It's how he gets better at what he does. It's how he learns. It's how he impresses people. And it's how he knows United are worth it this weekend at 3.2. Oh yes, Jimmy really likes hard work. Because hard work sometimes pays off.
What an effort from Salah.
Now, across the world, awards always raise debate. Whether it is the winner, the victor, the hero, the heroine, or the villain. Anyone who takes the award will always start debate that probably a nominee deserved or the other did deserve. Well, we're still discussing Lionel Messi winning his 6th FIFA Men's Best Player of the Year honor, adding to his 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012 and 2015 awards. As we speak, he now leads Cristiano Ronaldo by 1. He beat Ronaldo and Virgil van Dijk during the awards ceremony that was held in Milan in Italy earlier on Monday. Of course, the world has gone berserk with Messi fans coming out to defend him of how he managed to score 54 goals in 58 appearances last season, and that's how Barcelona managed to make it to the semi-finals of the Champions League and also the La Liga. On the other hand, Cristiano Ronaldo managed to win the Scudetto with Juventus and also was part of the team that won the UEFA Nations League with Portugal. He did beat Netherlands that had Virgil van Dijk, but the Dutch, Van Dijk himself, managed to win the UEFA Champions League with Liverpool last season and also finished just 2 points behind Manchester City in the Premier League title race. These were the 3 players that were nominated, and of course it's caused debate across the globe. One thinking it is this one, and another thinking is that. My views are here, by the way. I think Ronaldo had a stellar year, Messi had a fantastic year, but I think Virgil van Dijk deserved to win this award. Probably even Alisson Becker comes ahead. Unfortunately, today, world football has moved on from all the other aspects of the game and it's been narrowed down to goals. It's why Messi easily beat Ronaldo to the vote, and also Virgil van Dijk was in the shadow of the two when about 400 representatives came up to vote from the different countries that turn out to be FIFA members. Well, the debate will always continue, but I actually think Van Dijk had a stellar year that none of the two came close. Unfortunately, Messi is a striker who will always score the goals, but Van Dijk himself had Liverpool eliminate Barcelona. He'll already talk that, and Argentina didn't go far with or without Messi in the Copa America. For Ronaldo, he will always remain there. He didn't have a huge hand in seeing Portugal reach the finals of the Nations League, but Portugal eventually won it with him. I thought most of the work was done by Bernardo Silva, and the awards were topsy-turvy, left, right, and center. The outcome of the results, we've seen the coach for Sudan claim that he voted Mohamed Salah, but the first place was changed and given to Leo Messi. We've seen the fifth Pro 11 that was selected, Sergio Ramos, did make the 11, as well as Luka Modric and Marcelo, and Manchester City won a treble in England, but none of their players was included in the fifth Pro 11. So many questions that do not have answers here. However, everyone does have an opinion. I actually think Van Dijk was the deserved winner for this particular award, but that's a story for another day. For this particular topic, I'll leave you with thoughts all the way from USA. Take a look.
It's a very interesting debate going on. But for me, if you give me a list of Messi, Van Dijk, and Ronaldo and tell me to pick one, surely for last season I would pick Messi. I have a couple of reasons for that. I know Messi didn't win anything outside Spain, but what Messi didn't do for Barcelona didn't do. But Barcelona collapsed in the UEFA Champions League semi-final because Messi decided to pass the ball to Dembele instead of scoring the fourth goal in Camp Nou. After that, Barcelona crumbled. Messi, what he didn't do in Argentina, they didn't do. Copa Italia out of the window. Ronaldo, yes, won the league in Italy, but that's a league way below La Liga. Van Dijk was colossal for Liverpool, but if you start to see how many games he decided for Liverpool, I can't count 5. Yes, he was good in the back, but he didn't decide many. Mane did decide very many games for them. Salah did decide many games for Liverpool last season. So for me, Messi any day.
Now, 15 years ago, The two teams, Manchester United and Arsenal, were bride and groom. As we speak today, they're only struggling to be the maids or the best man. This weekend, it is the big one between Manchester United against Arsenal. It comes late on Monday. And I've got two football fans here. Jude Mugabi from the Manchester United corner. Welcome to the show once again.
Thank you.
As well as Mr. Moses Echodu from the Arsenal corner. Welcome to the show once again.
Thank you.
These two gentlemen, we're going to break down this fixture. Of course, United last season only beat Arsenal in the FA Cup, eliminating them. But Arsenal won in the Premier League and then forced a draw at Old Trafford 2-2 last time round. Now, of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Unai Emery meet once again, and here's where I come to you, Moses.
Yeah.
Arsenal is ahead of Manchester United. United do have 8 points on board. Yeah. Arsenal have 3 more points. They did fight tooth and nail to beat Aston Villa 3-2 last weekend.
Yeah.
In midweek, they managed to beat Nottingham Forest 5-0. They're on a run, but this is Manchester United we're talking about.
I think Arsenal's issues are compounded by the fact that when they are on the way, they are not a team that you can always rely on to get you the points. We've seen when they went to Watford, everyone had expected they would be able to go and pick all the 3 points. The game started, you could say that they could actually go out and get the points, but they did not eventually do that. You look at the game that they had against Liverpool as well as an example. It came down to the tactics displayed by the manager, the team selection that he also chose. And, for me, it comes down to the fact that Unai Emery seems not to understand the team that he has, but also that he's also having infights with the players that he should be utilizing to be able to win him the games.
Interesting. United and Arsenal on Monday night at Old Trafford. Jude, when you look at United and Arsenal, for United, the sad story is whenever there is an injury or two, United is just close to a crisis.
Yeah, and the crisis could get bigger on Monday. So we're just hoping that they are returnees from injury. That's how we stand a chance.
Obviously, Paul Pogba is expected to return in this one. There's been talk of Anthony Martial and Mason Greenwood making the team as well. Probably even Marcus Rashford, who didn't play the last 30 minutes against West Ham.
Yeah. So, but I think the biggest returnee would be Pogba, because our midfield last week was non-existent, and we would need that kind of player. Probably it will also go back to social selection. You would want to see a player like Fred coming back into the team, because he had a good game against Astana, and he would reinforce the midfield.
Reinforcing the midfield will be key to Manchester United, because the options available are Scott McTominay, Nemanja Matic, Paul Pogba should be available, and there's talk of another player, that is Fred, that Jude has just talked of. And Moses, when I get to you, Arsenal, they do have problems at the back. Is it Matteo Guendouzi? Is it Lucas Torreira? Is it Granit Xhaka? Who plays in that deep holding role in the midfield to back up a defense that has seemed to be porous?
I think, when you watch all the games that Arsenal have played so far, you realize that Unai Emery has a way he seems to favor to have Guendouzi playing deeper than Granit Xhaka playing just right ahead of him, with Joe Willock, going up ahead of them to play in that deep role, which I don't think that is capable of handling if you're going to play against a team like Manchester United. And when you have a player like Paul Pogba as your opposition, he's always going to tower over the young lad. So you need someone who is also a bit mature in the decision making, and Willock is not that player. But in that deep role, you'd have expected that Arsenal would probably throw in Torreira, because of how crafty he is and how he's a hard tackler. That's something I cannot say for Guendouzi. So, or probably even get Callum Chambers to go and play in that role, because at Fulham he was arguably one of the best players in that period, playing in that deep role. But I can't say the same for Guendouzi. He's a brilliant player, but he's a player that you can rely on to do the box-to-box position.
Now, still talking this particular encounter, the last time Arsenal beat Manchester United at Old Trafford was back in September 17th, 2006. Guess what? Then, no one knew Cardi B, no one knew Ed Sheeran, and Robert Mugabe was still alive. As we speak, United, 13 years later, chance to stop Arsenal once more, but 3 points are very, very important for United.
Sure, and it's going to go back to. For United, the team selection is pretty straightforward. The back four. So it's also going to rely on how Arsenal line up You have fans questioning Unai Emery's selection a lot. You don't know who is going to play, and there are people who have put up their hands and they want to be chosen, especially at the back where they've been having problems. You have a player like David Luiz who always has a mistake in him per game. So if he starts, probably United will have a chance. But there are people like Rob Holding, Callum Chambers who have come back, and they've shown that they are ready to challenge for those places. So it's going to be up to Unai Emery to make those big, bold decisions on Monday. Who does he start at the back?
Interesting. And of course, this one will be the last game on match day number 7. And as we speak, the problems for Arsenal are with the defense. The problems for United are with putting the ball into the back of the net. As we speak on www.betway.ug, the odd for United to win is at 2.27, and that for Arsenal at 2.99. For a draw, it is at 3.65 on that side. And here's where I go to you, Moses. Who do you expect to win this one?
If Anthony Martial comes back in, I think United have an upper hand. But for someone out there, I would bet you go for a draw, because both teams, United are struggling, but Arsenal on away, you can't rely on them to pick 3 points.
Interesting. Jude?
I'll also go for a draw.
Goal scoring or goalless?
1-1.
It's a Monday night.
Yeah, sure. And I know for a team like Arsenal who can defend. And you said Monday night, like Gary Neville said, it's a Monday night. The game is at night, so on Monday, that's always a United win most times. But I'm going for a draw this time round because we still have so many problems as well.
Both teams going for a draw, but I actually think that United has been shy of a victory for quite a long time. They managed to beat Astana. Of course, they had a midweek game in the Carabao Cup against Rochdale at Old Trafford. But I still think they're thirsty for a result. With Paul Pogba returning, while he was away, United only managed 2 goals in 270 minutes. If he does return, I think United are favourites to win this one. However, do not write off a draw. You can bet on this one on www.betway.ug. Now, before I let these guys go, we'll quickly go into the other fixtures. Quick predictions. Sheffield, Liverpool. It's the early kickoff on Saturday.
Liverpool win easily.
Easily?
Yeah.
Away from home?
Yes. You'd bet on Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane to get you the bags, but for me the most important player is always going to be Roberto Firmino. And in the backline, they have since then tried to improve on their defensive setup, because remember at the beginning of the season they were letting in careless goals, but they have since worked on that, and I think that Sheffield United may be surprised by Liverpool, and Liverpool come with a win.
And of course, do not forget that Tottenham Hotspur will be hoping that they can avenge for that defeat they suffered against Colchester United in the Carabao Cup in midweek. They do visit the side that is Southampton. Actually, Southampton does visit them on Saturday. You can bet on that one as well. And the light kickoff on Saturday involves Manchester City away at Everton. Liverpool, it's where Man City goes in the Merseyside.
Yeah.
Any chance for a threat? They're just coming off an 8-0 trouncing of
very big win last week, and I don't think they're letting loose anytime soon. They are chasing Liverpool, and I don't think this is at the point of the season where they will slip up. So Man City win for me.
Man City win. And of course, the last game we'll talk about is Chelsea at the Stamford Bridge. They do host Brighton. They've struggled to win games there. They lost to Valencia at home. They lost to Liverpool last weekend at home. And this time round, they do welcome Brighton. Your pick, Moses?
This is a Chelsea win. Chelsea are very poor defensively. They have conceded 13 goals and managed to score on 11, and I mean 12. But at the end of the day, I think that I'll go for a Chelsea win because of that high press that they have, and they'll be looking at getting points to recover the lost points that they had with Liverpool. So a Chelsea win for me.
All odds for the Premier League encounters are available this weekend on www.betway.ug. Do not go away, because when I do return, I'll be discussing the La Liga, where Real Madrid do take on Atletico in the Madrid derby. Do stay with us.
We're giving you the chance to boost your multi-bet winnings by up to 100%. To activate your boost, create your bet slip, check your boost, and place your bet. It's that simple. The more selections you add, the bigger your boost. Visit Betway online now. Betway, for the love of the game.
Now, it appears there is no team that is yet to command the race so far in the Spanish La Liga, because the leaders changed at the top. At the start of the week, it was Granada after their 2-0 victory over Barcelona. By the way, that is Barcelona's worst start in the La Liga over the last 13 seasons. Interesting stuff, by the way, implying that Ernesto Valverde could face a sack if things do not just go right. Well, many would think it's because Lionel Messi has not been playing the games, but he did feature in that defeat, and of course he did return in midweek to play for Barcelona as they managed to recover with a 2-1 victory over Villarreal. Interestingly, Real Madrid was yet to play Osasuna, but Barcelona was still a point behind Madrid, who had 11 after 5 encounters. Atletico Madrid have already picked up 13 points after 6 games, and of course following that weekend draw where they couldn't just go past Celta Vigo. This time round, they managed to respond with a 2-1 victory over Real Mallorca, and of course Joao Felix and Diego Costa getting the goals. And perhaps this is what drives us to the big one this weekend, because Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid do face off at the Wanda Metropolitano on Saturday. Atletico at home, Madrid hoping that they can just upstage the host this weekend. But of course, Zinedine Zidane against the coach that is Diego Simeone. These two coaches have faced each other before in the UEFA Champions League final of 2014 and 2016. Zidane getting the better of Diego Simeone. Here, I actually think Atletico do stand a big chance. Madrid have struggled. They've not been that rosy. They, of course, got a scrappy 1-0 victory over Sevilla last weekend. But this time round, Casemiro and company in the midfield will face huge tests from the likes of Koke, Thomas Partey, and of course, Joao Felix at the front with Diego Costa. But on the other hand as well, it will be Zidane will be unleashing Luka Modric, who was rested for the game against Osasuna. He does return for this one, and of course expected to boss that midfield in the place of the man that is James Rodriguez, just right behind Karim Benzema, with Eden Hazard coming off the left, and from the right, the man that is Gareth Bale. That's said to be the setup for Real Madrid. I actually expect both teams to score in this one, but for a result, I think Atletico could be clinical and perhaps finish it off just right well. Still at the same weekend, Barcelona will be visiting Getafe. You can bet on these games on www.betway.ug. The odd for Madrid to win away from home is at 3.03, and that for Atletico on www.betway.ug at 2.37, and for a draw it is at 3.35. That is what I actually think will be the likely score. Both teams scoring in this one, and it being a draw. Still talking the Spanish side, that is Barcelona, but we'll cross to another tournament that is the UEFA Champions League that comes up later on next week. Now, of course, so many fixtures across Europe, and I actually think Barcelona this time round likely to get their first win of the season, but they'll have to work hard when they host Inter Milan in Group F. And Barcelona, remember, in the first game of the group, they did draw away from home against Borussia Dortmund at the Signal Iduna Park, and Inter Milan were held at home by Slavia Prague, the game ending 1-1. Now, talking of Inter, they've been pushing Juventus to the wall in the Serie A already. Of course, winning the Milan derby when they beat AC Milan last weekend 2-0. Talk of players like Stefano Sensi, Matteo Politano in the midfield, having players like Lautaro Martinez at the front together with Romelu Lukaku, that being the setup with names like Diego Godin, who have played in Spain and are well aware of the challenge that comes with picking results at the Camp Nou. That is the side that Antonio Conte will try to put out against Barcelona, but I think Barcelona, having Antoine Griezmann, Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez at the front, they should be pushing to get the result in that particular encounter. You can bet on this one as well on www.betway.ug. The odd for Barcelona to win at home on Wednesday is at 1.41, and for a draw at 5.19. For Inter to win away, it is as high as 6.79. I actually think Inter will get a goal, but Barcelona could just edge it because they are thirsty for results, and I'm being honest on this one. But earlier on Tuesday, Atletico Madrid will be away taking on Lokomotiv Moscow, and that will be in Russia. Manchester City do take on Dinamo Zagreb, and the big one, I actually think it is Liverpool who do host Red Bull Salzburg in Group E. Liverpool in this particular encounter, by the way, they are yearning for their first points of the tournament. They are the defending champions, but they lost on the opening day of their Group E away to Napoli, losing 2-0. Both goals came in the last 10 minutes. Jurgen Klopp complaining that Napoli shouldn't have earned a penalty. In this one, I actually think Liverpool may turn out to just punish Red Bull Salzburg. However, Salzburg will not just be lying down because they've got the teenager Allan from Norway who scored a hat-trick on the opening game as they beat Genk 6-2 in Salzburg. By the way, Red Bull Salzburg is the former team for the former Cranes captain Ibrahim Sekaja, now with another Red Bull affiliate club, that is New York Red Bulls. Of course, he'll be cheering on Red Bull Salzburg, but Liverpool are my favorites to win in this one. The odd for them on www.betway.ug is at 1.28 and that for Salzburg at 8.9. Talking of Allan, the teenager, he's already scored 17 times and assisted 5 goals in 10 appearances this season. It's a huge statistic for the 19-year-old from Norway. 15 Premier League clubs are looking at him to sign him, but I don't think he'll be scoring at the Anfield. Liverpool may turn out to just play mature football to pick all the 3 points. You can bet on the UEFA Champions League. So many fixtures, I must tell you, as well as the UEFA Europa League, where Manchester United and Arsenal will be featuring. But just do not forget that there are so many events available. You can't bet on the Betway casino. There is 4 to score. So many things to do on www.betway.ug. And just do not forget, this is the Just Darren Show. Special thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye-bye.